Voice of the People 96.1 FM, and we've been talking with Rufai Oseni and Mr. Larry Oguego. So we're talking a little bit about the before in the conversation with Rufai, we're talking about the senators and their constituency projects, and with Mr. Larry we're talking security. And just to pick up on that conversation, because we'll go back to this issue of constituency projects. Yes, because it's one thing that a lot of Nigerians, it's the reason why the National Assembly was created, is so that there can be a representative of each constituency in the National Assembly, so that voices, just how big Nigeria is, everyone is felt or heard at the National Assembly. But how far does that even go to translate into projects for Nigerians in their homes or in their villages is one question that is left to be answered. But on this particular one, we'll continue our conversation on insecurity. Welcome back, Larry, on this conversation.
Yeah, thank you, Gesson.
All right. So before we went on a break, I was asking about this issue of Nigerians and their willingness to give information about these bandits. Is there reasons? Are there reasons rather why individuals will see these people, the kidnapped victims? They would see, because obviously they're not disappearing and reappearing at their hideouts. They're moving in troves, they're moving in groups, so individuals must have seen them. Nigerian citizens must have seen them in one way or the other at one time or point in time or the other. So is there a reason why we're not seeing Nigerians dishing out information as to the whereabouts of these bandits?
I think your first assumption that I do not agree with is that they don't even know where they are. Very often, the indigenes know where they are. If you listen to the man who was former local government chairman in Kaduna that was describing their movement, he was actually saying that they were heading towards their hideout, that I don't know if they would have arrived by now. So the locals know where they hide. When we talk about these ungoverned spaces and all of that, you remember that the locals go to do their hunting, do their farming. They know strangers, they know themselves. So let us also, first of all, understand that the local population very often know where these guys hide. And this information I just reminded you of now is a factor when you talk about calling the security forces when they see them moving. They know that these guys are in this forest, and the security forces are supposed to know, and sometimes they also know that they're in this forest, and there is either no capacity or political way to go and move them out and, like they tell us on television, neutralize them. So if you are not willing to go and attack them on a good day, and then they are now moving and they are battle ready, and you are telling me to call you that you come and attack them, first of all, who do I call? That's number one. Do I have a number I can call? And secondly, if I call, will they respond? We know that we have this situation in the Plateau, especially in Plateau State, especially where they tell us repeatedly that they have called security agents when these guys threaten that they will come and attack them, and they don't come. So apart from the fact that there is no organized system for saying, oh, let us call the security. Who do we call? There is also no trust. There is no network. In Kuriga, the place where they carried the whole school away, more or less, they go to hills to make calls. That is, they have to climb a hill to get network. That is how bad your country is. That is, if you want to make a call, you start looking for network. We have these jokes that sometimes tell the person climb a tree or climb a pole. It's like a joke, but for me, it represents how bad this nation is. We know that we have insecurity, and we cannot give these people maybe shortwave radios or even maybe satellite phones. We have some special persons who will say call security agents when you see these people. So what is wrong with giving a few persons binoculars or telescopic size to say if they are coming, call this person? We are not interested in protecting our people. Let me just say it the way it is. The rich men and politically exposed persons who are interested in protecting themselves take proactive measures to protect themselves. Let me explain what I mean in clear terms. If a governor is visiting a place or a president, they send an advance party to go and check if the place is safe for the visit. I'm trying to explain to you what it means to be intentional about security. they know that there could be a security threat. They send DSS, they send DMI, they send people to go there and check. Are there vulnerable spots here? So how do you manage your gas security? But because we are not important to them, they don't send any advance party, and there is even no present party when danger looms. So the point is that the leaders are not interested in our safety. They spend more energy arguing about their perks and benefits than they spend protecting us. And they forget that without us, there won't be any leadership. You can't be leading trees and grasses. If you are a governor of human beings, first and foremost. So I think we need to just understand what the challenge is. People don't trust our leaders, and they don't trust them for the obvious reasons. They don't take care of them. They don't care about them. They see them only after they have been kidnapped or there's a crisis. So when there's a crisis, you come and you tell them that you go after them, you get them, and you don't ever accomplish that promise. And they have seen it severally. So they also don't trust you to come to their aid if they make that call you're talking about, and the terrorists find out that, oh, you have been calling these guys and they don't come. Do you know what their fate will be? Because there's also a reprisal. If you remember, if you go through incidents, you know that sometimes they actually attack villages for giving information against them. I'm sure you've had that severally.
Yes.
So if we call and say they are coming, and then we're able to attack them, so what of tomorrow? Are you going to protect us tomorrow? So there's a trust deficit. The people don't trust their political leaders, basically because they don't care for them. If they care for us, the nation won't even be in this state. I am telling you. Go and look at everything. There is disparity in everything, not only security, education, welfare, everything. We live in two countries. The rich live in a different country in Nigeria, the poor live in a different country. So when you tell the poor to go and call the rich to come and help them, they know they won't come. That is the biggest problem, trust deficit, because of poor leadership.
All right, still talking about poor leadership and the trust deficit prevalent in Nigeria. Let's move on to the National Assembly and this issue of constituency projects where leaders, quote unquote, 10 leaders of the National Assembly are getting way more money for their constituency projects than the other senators within the same National Assembly. Is there a reason why we're even having some leaders getting more money? Is this constitutionally backed? Is there something going on that Nigerians should know about?
Well, it shouldn't happen. It shouldn't happen. I was ashamed when Ndume was saying boldly that I got more. Yes, they know we are leaders, so we get more. But let me say this clearly. We have a dysfunctional National Assembly. We have a National Assembly that doesn't think about why they are there. This is very simple. Money should be allocated on the basis of need, not on the basis of the status of the senator. If what we are doing is constituency project, we are doing it for the people. So we should be able to ask ourselves, who needs more money based on need? That is why when there is a national disaster, we deploy money and resources to go and help our brothers and sisters in need. So the proper way to share constituency projects is to say, does anybody have extreme need? So we give the person more. Not does a senator have extreme greed, so we can give him more. That's not the formula. And that tells you that we have senators who go there basically to serve their pockets and not to serve the people. If they want to serve the people, they should have a feedback mechanism that will enable them to understand who has more problems. So the constituency project should be allocated on the basis of this feedback. So we have constituency offices and we have information on the different needs of the different constituencies, and they should be united in saying, oh, our brothers in this particular senatorial district are suffering. No, we have to give them a little more. That problem is acute. Our brothers here, yes, they may not be suffering as much, but they need resources also. So there should be a baseline, like everybody should get not less than 10 naira. But if you have extra need, we can give you this. So they should be thinking about solving problems, not about who is a ranking senator, who is older than the other person. So we can give one person 20 naira and give another person 10 naira. Now the person you are giving 10 naira may have acute problems that can kill him, and you don't give him the money to solve the problem. Go and give another person because the senator is a ranking senator. Now what it tells you is that the constituency project is not about the constituency, it's about the senator. Now that particular situation is evidence that the constituency project was never about the constituents, it's about the senator. If not, the money should be shared on the basis of the need of the constituents, not on the basis of the rank of the senator. So it's a shame that we have senators who go there to share money on the basis of who they and how long they have been there. And they say we agreed. Who agreed with you? So did they agree on Abia? Did they tell us all these things before the scandal came? Did they operate their constituency offices? They should make account for the money they're giving for those constituency offices. How often your own senator, ask your people, how often does he go to the constituency office to hold meetings? Do they even have staff there? Isn't it fraudulent to collect money to pay staff for your constituency offices and you don't even employ people? It's fraud. So these guys are not serious-minded people, really. If the people have knowledge of how much fraud that are perpetrated on Nigerians, how much unemployment they have created, because if they employ all the people they are supposed to employ, that they claim based on the monies that are being given that they're employing, they will at least have less unemployment. Even if those people are not working, let them get part of the loot. Unfortunately, that's not the case. So they are sharing the money on the basis of their personal needs, not on the basis of the needs of their constituents.
Okay. So let's move on to Labour. Still, touchlighting the federal government in this conversation, right? The NLC, the TUC, and the federal government got into an agreement last year